everybody, this is Neil with Catalyst Machine Works, and I'm back again with my infamous blue gloves. So we've got some pretty exciting things going on at our company, and I want to talk to you about that today. So in front of you is our Speed Addict Fearless Edition frame, but this is a new version of that frame. So this is an altered, improved design. So we do things a little bit different at this company. Is that, and what we do is we take the information and the feedback that we get from our customers, and we consider those ideas into the production of our frames. So every time we do a production run, if there's anything that is worthy of consideration for an improvement or a great addition or accessory or design idea, we can move on those things if we feel they make sense, and alter the design for the better. So not only that, but we have a wonderful team pilot program. We've got 4 team pilots right now, and those guys are just absolutely unbelievable. I'm so happy to have them on the team, and they give us wonderful information, design ideas, and they always communicating with us, and they have helped us immensely to make the improvements that I'm about to talk to you about. So I guess I'll go ahead and get into that and go step by step through those improvements. Okay, so the one of the obvious improvements that you may notice immediately if you've been looking at this frame on our site or talk to anybody who's flying it right now is these blue aluminum fasteners. So the first production run of our frame, we sold the frame with steel, silver steel, stainless steel fasteners. Now we are including in every kit as standard 70-75 aircraft grade aluminum blue fasteners that you see here. These are lighter. They're actually substantially lighter. They look really cool. That's a big part of it right there, is that they look really neat. They make the frame stand out, and they give it a little bit of pizzazz. We'll say pizzazz to it. And so we're very excited that we can offer these as standard now. Some of the additions that we made, or the improvements that we made to this frame, add a little bit of weight because we've added more material in certain places, and so to offset that, these blue fasteners are in place. That's one of the reasons that we are offering these fasteners, is to keep the weight the same, so we're not increasing the overall weight of the craft. So another improvement that we made in addition to the fasteners is we altered the design of the camera cage. So we got some requests from some people, and actually flying our prototypes ourselves and our team pilots, to have a steeper incline on the camera. So previously all you could fit was a 20-degree angle on the camera. Some people, and me personally, found out that wanted to fly with a steeper angle so I could have a higher angle of attack, yet still keep the camera looking down the track and not the ground. So what we did is we increased the width of this cage, and also increased the length slightly. So the reason we increased the width is because once you start angling that camera back, this upright right here would get into the shot, and that's distracting. It just doesn't look good in the video. So we had to widen this thing out, especially on these GoPro cameras. They put the lens offset to the left, so it makes it even more difficult to keep this thing out of the shot. So what we had to do is we had to move this upright out 7 millimeters, and then we kept it symmetric by moving this upright out 7 millimeters as well. And so that allows you to run a 30-degree mount for your cameras. Of course, this cage will still accept, any type of GoPro sized camera like this Chinese clone here. It's called a something Yi. I can't ever pronounce the first word. I don't know how to pronounce it. I probably never will, so I will continue forever to call this thing a Yi camera. And then also Mobius sized cameras. They'll all fit. We have a special mount for that. And so now this right here, this actually is the 30-degree mount. We're going to sell this mount as an accessory. So it's not going to come with the kit as standard. You're still going to get the 20-degree mount. But this mount will be an accessory on our website. It'll be inexpensive, so you can pick that up if you want, if you're interested in that, with your frame purchase. So another improvement that we made to this camera cage is the thickness of the bottom plate. So this plate right here. On our first production run, the material thickness of the plate was 1.5 millimeters. This is one of them now that you're looking at. So we increased that, we doubled that. So this is now 3 millimeters. For most crashes, this thing was fine, and it would hold up just fine. But our goal with this frame is to make it as crash tough as possible. Make it a tank. And so doubling that bottom plate thickness matches the thickness of this top plate, and really just makes the entire front portion of the frame, which is going to come into contact with whatever you hit first. It just makes it much tougher. And so that's a pretty exciting improvement that we've made. And now the addition of that material there, that extra weight is once again offset by these fasteners. So your overall weight is not increasing on the frame. Now another improvement that we made to the frame has to do with this change that we made to this bottom plate. We redesigned this front bulkhead. So before this bulkhead actually stopped, I call it a front stiffener plate in the manual, but I have recently been starting to call it a front bulkhead, so that's how I'll refer to it in this video. But before, it stopped right here. So these little extensions that come out to the cage, they were non-existent. They weren't there. And again, there hasn't been any problems with that. But me being a student of engineering, I know that when you have an impact into the front of this cage, all of those forces are getting transferred into these plates. And so the more material that you can distribute that stress to, the better. And there's a less of a chance of having a crack and busting up these plates. So we have that improvement. And so this overall structure here in the front, which you have to keep in mind when this thing is flying, this is the first thing to hit, always. And so you want it to be as tough as possible. And so now this is just unbelievably rigid and tough in the front of this frame. Okay, so the next update to the frame, and we noticed this almost immediately and got some requests from various people. We actually sent this frame off to Oscar. He's over in the UK, and he runs a blog that has become probably one of the most popular blogs on the internet for everything FPV racing. And he did a review of our frame, and one of the things that he pointed out in a personal email to me actually this was before anybody got a hold of the frame, and we started selling it, was the ability to mount the lithium battery inside the frame. So previously these standoffs were a little bit closer, and it would not allow you to put the lithium battery inside of the frame. You had to mount it up top, and that's fine. I mean, it worked fine. It worked great. It still allowed you to get the battery off the back so you could balance out the center of gravity. But when you have the ability to put this battery inside the frame, it does two things. So you're obviously protecting it from crashes, and you know that when you crash these things, it's unbelievable what can happen. I mean, I've had batteries fly off and go 30 feet. I've had batteries become absolutely shredded and destroyed. So when you can protect it inside of the frame, it's really beneficial. Save you some money on batteries, and you don't have to go and buy more. The next thing has to do with flight characteristics. So when you've got the battery out here, obviously the weight is sitting a distance from the center of gravity. And so when you put it in here, you're moving that mass closer to the axis of rotation when you're doing roll maneuvers and the center of gravity, the line of the center of gravity. And so that helps with your flight characteristics and your maneuverability of the craft. You can think of it almost like like an ice skater when they are spinning and they take their arms, which have a mass to them, and they move them closer to their body, they spin faster. It's the same thing with this. And so we think that is a really cool improvement. And you can fit 1300 milliamp all the way up to like 1500 milliamp hour batteries inside of the frame. Okay, so another improvement that we made is to the arm thickness. And so our first production run, what we offered was 3mm thick arms on the 265 quad. Now we have an option. You can buy, or an upgrade rather, you can buy 4mm arms. And so we only offer this for the 265 sized quadcopter. These 4mm arms don't come as standard. They're an optional upgrade. So when you purchase your frame, there's a link on there. You can go over there and hit it. It's $15 more, and what we do is we take out all 4 of the 3mm arms, and we include 4mm arms. Alright, so another improvement that we made to the frame came from one of our team pilots. His name is Armin, and he had been talking to me about different ideas to update this FPV camera cage up top and how to make it adjustable so you can adjust the angle. Right now on the previous production run, it's set at 20 degrees. And he wanted a way to be able to get a steeper angle. And he tossed around some things, and I tossed around some ideas. And finally, out of the blue, he came up with a very simple idea, non-complex, but it's just a wonderful, wonderful idea. So the way that this FPV camera cage works now is that you can select 2 different angles. You can do 20 degrees or you can do 30 degrees. And how you make that work is you take this front plate and you just move it to the other side. So if I unbolt this, flip it over and put it on this side, now I've got a 30-degree angle on the camera. And obviously this entire assembly is rotated 180 degrees and placed forward. But that's it. And so it allows you to select a 20 or 30 degree angle just by altering the way you assemble it. In addition, we changed this plastic part here. So this is a high quality 3D printed plastic boot that goes around the lens of the camera to keep it protected in a crash. And before, these little cutouts on either side did not exist, and so for you to assemble this, you had to put this piece on last. And the result of that was it made these little nuts a little bit difficult to get to. So now we've got these two parts open, and so that allows you to assemble this thing in such a way that you get easy access to these nuts. And this whole idea here of changing the design of this came from one of our customer comments. Alright, so that sums up all of the improvements that we made with this second production run of our frame. I wanted to point out that our prices have not changed. So our prices are the same as they've always been, and it just means that you're getting more for your money. Anybody who has the old version of the frame can update to this new version. We're going to have all of the various parts on our website, and if you needed any help in how to actually do that, or what's changed and how to go about updating your assembly, just let us know and we'll help you out, help you through that.
So that one was wicked. We ripped the motor right off, but everything else is good. I mean, the GoPro was totally fine in there. I just pulled it off to show this. Got a little bit of mud in there. Motor's totally ripped off, but everything else looks pretty good. Should power right back up.